best of luck to you. Now, leading businesswoman Nicola Pease has caused quite a controversy by suggesting that maternity leave and anti-sexism laws could backfire and actually make life more difficult in the workplace for women. She reckons that women already get a good deal when it comes to maternity leave, and a year off work is too long in her opinion. Women in Britain currently have the right to choose to take 52 weeks of maternity leave, but they only get paid for 6. So what do you think?
Full pay for 6.
Yeah. Then it kind of reduces over time to practically nothing, actually, it has to be said. But you do have the choice and the option of 52 weeks should you want it.
Keep your job open for.
Yeah. Do you think that's too long? Is she right?
I tend to agree with her, harsh though it is. In the workplace, if I was an employer and I had the choice between 2 young women, they're both getting married, and they're likely to have children, it's a very expensive thing for the employer. And obviously it's got to be covered. I'd rather see creches in them, more like Denmark and Sweden, where you can take your young children in to work with you. But ultimately the choice will always be, I think, for women, how far you want to go up the ladder and whether you want to stay at home. And I think to legislate to this degree, I think she's got a point.
Do you really?
Yes,
I think
in America it's only 12 weeks, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but in America they only allow you to have 2 weeks a year or something ridiculous as holiday. So that it's extreme on every level in the other direction over there. I think, you know, we're not saying that everyone has to take a year off, but to have that choice and to take that choice away from women, I think is... I just don't understand the thinking behind that. I get what you're saying about employers.
Well, I also survived quite a long time. You know, the big power jobs for male and female is a huge sacrifice. We're back to that thing about I have a right to this. You don't really have a right to choose to do a big... You know, you choose. What? You choose to go and travel. So a lot of these jobs are very pressured, very intense, and require absolute 24-hour commitment, which is fine. If that's what you want, do it. But don't then moan because you want to have a baby as well. You can't do both.
I don't think they're moaning. They're asking for their jobs to be kept open, and if they are fantastic in their job and their role, then an employer should want to have them back at any point over those 52 weeks.
I know it's
not in a baby's life. It's not in a woman's life. Then you should had a baby.
Then you should, I don't know, rethink. Or, as I say, more money in the workplace. Make it easier for people to take their children to work.
I think that's a very valid point. But to take that choice away from women when we fought so hard to be taken seriously on that front, I think it's really unsisterly, actually.
I mean,
I do, honestly.
Well,
Lynda.
I think it's realistic. And I had to work. I've survived. Nobody legislated for me, and nor my mother or my mother's mother.
No, but isn't it great that they now have?
Well, I don't think it's changed. I think the people that want to work and go to the top and sacrifice and suffer, and people that want to stay at home, quite rightly, I'd love to have stayed at home.
I'm not having any babies. Can I have a year off? With pay? What about me? I think it's really unfair.
I think it's a little bit different, Carol. I think it's a little bit different.
It's not different.
Of course it's different. We're talking about the first year. Apparently, a lot of your character and personality is formed as a baby in the first year, and I think it's very... But sometimes, to be honest, I think that it's more for the mum's needs rather than the baby's needs, because we all know that we were talking earlier, weren't we, about sometimes it's when the children get older that they need you now. I mean, I think my 20-year-old needs me around more now at the moment for lots of things that young men do. Do you know what I mean? Rather than as a small baby, because as long as they've got some food and some loving arms. But I think that mentally, I think that mums feel that they want to be with their child for that long. But at the same time, I am on the fence, because I also agree that as an employer, I would probably give the job to someone that I thought had a grown-up family or was going to remain childless than give it to someone of childbearing years. And, you know, because if that person is so good in their job, you're going to have the person who's not quite so good at that job, presumably, for a full year, you know, and in quite a sort of, you know, bit high-powered job. That's very difficult.
What we're saying is the choice is to take a year if you really want it. Most women don't. Most women do return at some stage, be it part-time, full-time. But I think it's fabulous that we have that option.
What do you think about paternity leave, though? Do you think that... Because what do men get?
I think it's disgraceful that they only get 2 weeks. They should be given far more flexibility and far more options. And actually, because, you know what, when you've just given birth, you need more than 2 weeks' help around the house.
You do, but I think that most men would probably take another 7 jobs to get out the house after 2 weeks.
But I think, you know, when we're talking about rights and choices, I think that men are horribly overlooked in this area.
Do you know what, though? Because the other day on the show I said that I wouldn't give up my seat on the tube for a pregnant woman. I am actually hated by all pregnant women and women with children all over the country. So I'd just like to put it on the record that I think that pregnant women and women with children should never have to work. They should get paid fully for having children. They should have free travel. They should have free clothes and free holidays, and we should pay for everything. And there should be like red carpets everywhere they
Carol
walk.
Carol thinks there
Is that enough?
She thinks there should be like a buggy lane, you know, like
Yeah,
there's a bike or a bus
buggy
lane, a
lanes
bug
for
lane, so you can't get in a way.
Yeah, I think they should be 10 years maternity. That's what they should all get. I think they're heroes. They're saints. Everything about women with babies is fantastic. I love them all. Yeah.
About time to... Clearly, Carol was feeling the hostility on the streets of
But I'd
Great
still
Britain
like
after
to take a
yesterday's
year off
comment.
with pay, please.
Do you know what I would
Thanks.
like to do? I would like to sneak in the night. Not a pretty thought, but I would like to get a turkey baster to make her pregnant. I really would.
So would I. How fabulous is that then? OK, on that thought, we're going to take a final break, but when we come back, the irrepressible...